Hey everyone, Vintage Fan Collector here, and at long last I installed a Delta II with 5 blades. Woo! This is my 1988 Casablanca Delta II that you guys have probably seen in a couple of my ceiling fans of my house videos over the years, as I've had this installed in a couple different parts of this house. First I started downstairs in the technically it's the formal dining room, but I'm using it as like a study or a nook type thing. Then I moved it up to my brother's room, and then I found the 5th blade, decided I wanted to put up my Advent Touch Panama 2, and I threw it up in the other room where the CXL and the Derby used to be. Because I decided that let me just not stutter here. I decided because the Derby was lacking the proper screws for the switch housing that it was annoying. Since it did wobble, it would shake the whole light kit and that switch housing plate thing. And I just kind of got tired of that, and I thought, well, it would be cool to put this up with 5 blades and, you know, do a interesting little combination with the glass and everything. So here we are. Now I do remember, well, I was reminded that I did film, I can't remember if it's this one or the twin, on my test mount back at the last house with bevel glass and the K4S it came with and all that stuff, with 4 and 5 blades. But this is the first time in a long time I've actually had a Delta II with 5 blades in an installation, outside of just a video. So that's worthy of noting, I suppose, because a lot of people are like, why don't you do 5 blades? Although in this house, everything upstairs has 5 blades and everything downstairs has 4. Because I figured, well, it's the first 2-story house I've ever lived in. It's kind of cool to do something like that. So we'll go ahead and turn on the light kit here. As usual, I'm using superior incandescent bulbs because why live in the miserable LED-plagued current era when you can enjoy how lighting was meant to be. And it also complements the beautiful flower cut crystal that's my all-time favorite glassware ever, mainly due to the fact that this was the very first type of glassware I ever saw on a ceiling fan, because my childhood bedroom, growing up from like 2 months old all the way until I finally replaced the fan, had this glass on it. So it's a big thing for me, and I want to get more of this glassware type. I have a good amount of sets of these, but I want more because this just never gets old to me. So we'll go ahead and start it off on low. And this being from 1988, it does have a Samsung motor inside, which means that you get the super fun harmonics when it goes to high speed, including an operating harmonic on high. And this has a smidge of a bearing noise because my brother, well, just because it got more use than it probably did for a long time being installed in this house. And my brother never turned this thing off high, pretty much, even in the wintertime. I will say, as somebody who does prefer the 4-bladed Delta IIs, this does look really nice. I think I knocked it out of the park with this combination of light kit, glass, and blades. The blades are a light oak finish, which is kind of uncommon, honestly, for Casablancas. I've not really seen a lot of Casas from this time period having this finish, so I'm glad I have 2 sets. And while I am trying to get rid of as many duplicates as possible, I actually really don't want to get rid of these 2 because I could see myself making a dual installation of these 2 88 Delta IIs, because these and Panamas are my all-time favorite Casablanca fans. I know that's funny to say because a lot of people are focused on the rare stuff, but I've always liked the easier to obtain, but also the more down-to-earth fans, because that's what I grew up with. I did see the cool, crazy modern stuff, and there's a lot of it around here, but it's hard to collect because everybody keeps the stuff. I mean, working in the fan industry doing repairs for 8 years, I realized that we aren't in a drought at all of cool, rare Casablancas and other, modern style fans from the 80s and 90s. Nobody just replaces them. They keep them and they use them. Even with newer decor, they keep them here because we recognize as a general culture, not everyone, but a general culture, that air movement matters in this state. So people keep stuff like that. Here's medium, by the way. So because of that, I've kind of gravitated over the years towards the more simple fans because I can see myself using them more, and I have decor that supports polished brass, white and polished brass, antique white, antique brass, just solid white, solid black, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on and shifting towards. So I've actually sold off a lot of my rarer stuff, and I'm still continuing to do so. That said, I'm also going to mention, before I turn this on high because I don't want to talk for that, I will probably not be making a lot of YouTube videos. I know I haven't lately anyways, so it's like, ooh, shocker. But I realized that this hobby, while fun, is getting out of hand for me because I have far more fans than I've actually messed with, especially in the last 3 years of living in this house where I didn't have a test rig at all and I wasn't able to, mess around with fans all the time. I've kind of realized that I don't need this stuff. I don't need a lot of this stuff. I used to actually think that I needed to save all these fans, and that was part of the reason why my collection got so big. Working in at a place that repaired and installed ceiling fans meant that I was actually replacing a lot of good fans, and I felt guilty, quite literally, of like, oh, I don't want to throw this away because I know it's good. So I went from like 70 ceiling fans probably in 2020, maybe 100, to like 350 by 2024, which is the year I left that industry and stopped working at that showroom. That's a lot of freaking fans, and 90% of it was from the job and free and not off a marketplace or anything. So from a financial standpoint, aside from the storage units I have to store the additional crap, I actually didn't spend a lot of money initially on the fans. It's just storing them and, all that stuff's getting old. Anyways, I'm going to be quiet for a couple of seconds while we enjoy the Samsung harmonics. That will truly never get old. And that's another reason why I kind of want to keep both of these, because who wouldn't? These things are awesome. I've got a couple other Samsung motor Delta IIs. My Verde one, or Verdi, and my Snow White with the K4T that I had in my bedroom for a bit in the last house. And I think a couple others all have Samsung motors. The 89 that started my affinity for Delta IIs, the second or first. I think it was the first fan I ever officially collected, actually. That one, I still have it, and that one has a Samsung as well. But back to what I was saying, I just realized that it's time to move on. Like, I'm not going to get rid of everything because I still do like fans. It will always be an interest of mine, and I can't get rid of everything because I know it is increasingly becoming harder to find good examples of fans that move air and look good while doing it and are well made, that will last a long time, that aren't throwaway fans. So I want to keep a select amount, preferably under 100 fans, to toy around with and maybe swap out or whatever, have for parts too, and also for any like relatives' houses where they want fans. I'd like to have a little bit of a stockpile, but the amount of fans I currently possess is just absurd. Now, I don't have the most fans out of all these collectors. Cole, for example, has way more than me, and Dan probably has thousands that he probably doesn't even know how many fans he has, and Charles Smith or Chandru or Andrew Gould, however you want to call him, he probably has a bunch too, but I don't want to be in that field anymore, that bracket. I don't want to be in that amount of fans, because it's not really done me a lot of good, and not really messing with fans for the most part over the last 3 years has showed me that I don't really need this stuff to be happy, actually. And yes, the hobby does make me happy, but aside from all the collector drama on the Facebook groups and whatnot that exists, I'm just kind of wanting to pull back a bit and also focus on some of my other hobbies like lighting and cars and music. I want to get back into actually playing and learning more songs on both the piano and the viola, and I want to learn how to play the bass guitar and maybe even the drums, things like that. I want to get more into my gun interest as well. I want to just branch out more, because I put a lot of focus onto this YouTube channel and onto the fan hobby in general over the last 15 or so years, as this is my highest subscriber count on YouTube out of all my channels, like 1,200 I think now, which is still insane. I can't thank y'all enough for even getting me up there, because I never thought in a million years I'd ever make it there. But I just think it's time to scale back, and life is changing anyways too, so priorities are shifting. I want to finally branch off and get my own place and start new chapters, all that kind of stuff. So sorry about that, that was my girlfriend texting me. But yeah, I think it's time, and I've enjoyed making YouTube videos of fans and stuff for the past 15 or more years. I've got a lot of videos, funnily enough, that I never even uploaded, which I might go through and start uploading more of the backlog to kind of at least push some content out there. But as far as new stuff, I probably won't be doing too much of that. Now, when I move into the next place, which is in a couple of months, potentially this month, or definitely next month, but maybe even this month, I will probably do fan installs there, and I will film videos of all of those. But I don't think I'll be doing a lot of like collection demonstration videos. I mean, shoot, I sold a bunch of fans that I never even hung up or got videos of, like my Columbia 2 that I had, my Broadway, my Chrome Original that I had for a bit, a bunch of fans I sold that I didn't even hang up. My 1886, because I didn't see the point. In this house, too, I didn't have a good spot to really test fans. Because in this room and the other room, you need a longer down rod for 52-inch fans, which I don't have for every fan. And then my grandma moved into the downstairs room, which previously was a storage room that I should have made videos in while I had the chance, but it didn't occur to me, or I don't remember why I didn't do that. But yeah, and doing that in my room, that's a pain in the butt. I have to keep taking down the fan in my bedroom and putting it back up, it's just annoying. So yeah, sorry to make this video kind of long, but this was stuff I've been wanting to say for a bit, and I figured I might as well just mention it in the video. For anybody who even watches this long to hear this, I appreciate it, for one thing, because I know that people skim through these kind of videos a lot. I see it in the analytics. I don't care. I mean, I don't do this because I want to be famous, obviously. I mean, if I did, I would be doing a terrible job at that, considering I'm not very consistent with uploading at all. But yeah, I think it's time to start doing different things, and I'm going to start focusing on my lighting channel a bit more as well, because that one's almost has 800 subscribers now, which is cool, so I might as well, pump that one up and make more videos of my lighting collection, which is bigger than my fan collection, but easier to store. Minus the street lights, those are kind of a pain in the butt. But those were really hard to obtain and took a while, and I'd rather hold on to those longer because those I can see myself using, because my plan is to have land, which I would totally install all of them on property. But these, I mean, I don't need 350 fans. Where am I going to put them all? I don't have a basement to install them like Cole, which I really wish we did, because then I wouldn't even have to really worry about this. I could just hang them all up and not have to worry about storage. But since in the great state of Texas we don't have basements due to our limestone layer being so close to the soil, and also the lack of a requirement to dig below the freeze line anyways, basements aren't really common, therefore I don't have room like that. So yeah, I think this is going to be a good thing for my life to lighten up the load. And if you know me on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, I'm on Instagram on the same exact name. Granted, I don't use that account much, but I do check it from every now and then. I would like to get rid of a lot of fans, and I probably will be cheap on it at this point because I just want them to go. But I will be perfectly honest, if there comes to be a point where not a lot is sold and I'm just ready to give up on it, I will probably donate or trash the stuff, or say, hey, get your butt over here on this day and pick through everything that is marked to take for free, and then yeah, I'll have that happen. I might just organize something like that because I really just want the stuff to go away and I don't want to have to trash it. So that's really all I have to say. I think that covers all my bases here. I've got a couple more fans in the house that don't have a demonstration video of or on YouTube yet. Actually, I think just one, the Lady Delta in the room directly below this one, funnily enough, which also I think has light oak blades and is polished brass, I just realized. But yeah, that's really it, and I hope y'all enjoyed, and thanks again for being around, for all of y'all for as long as you have, and those that are new, I apologize. I'm kind of not really interested in maintaining a consistent uploading schedule of any kind on this channel, and probably won't be doing much more fan stuff. And this is something that I might change my mind about in the future, I don't know. But for now anyways, I definitely feel it's the best thing to do to just scale back on the fans, because it really has gotten out of hand, and I look at what I'm spending on storage, you know, the hassle of moving everything around, and just the space it takes up that could be used for something else. It doesn't feel worth it to me anymore. I guess I'm growing up more than I thought I would be, you know, if that makes sense. So that's really all I have to say. Thanks again for watching, and sorry it got a little philosophical there, but it does regard the general fate of this channel, I suppose, so it's worth mentioning. And I hope you enjoyed the demonstration of this beautiful 1988 Casablanca Delta II in the beautiful polished brass finish with, honestly, one of my favorite blade finishes, the light oak. And some people will try to argue with me and say that this is superior to 4 blades, but I disagree. However, I still do like this with 5. So yeah. That pretty much wraps it up. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you again for watching. Until maybe next time. Who knows? Bye.